but we're getting there. Like, as in, at some point we will do it. I am Hex Tangent. We have a guest today, which is actually a first for this show, or for what I've been doing on this particular channel. It's RG3. Most of you already know him. And I'm just going to wait to see. Yeah, okay, I was waiting to see if this was going to come up over here. And by the way, as I just mentioned to you in the green room, Bullish is running this stream into the Metaverse. And you said that that's the first view, yeah?
Yeah, that's, as far as I know, unless somebody else streamed it, this is my first trip into the Metaverse.
You know what I'm going to do? I'm actually going to pull it up
so we can see it.
So that we can see it.
That is cool.
It's pretty wild when you see. It's getting pretty meta when you start to see you're watching yourself watch yourself in the.
Yeah, that's cool.
This has inspired people like more than I would have expected.
Right on. Well, I remember. So when the internet, I'm going to age myself. When the internet first came out, my vision of the internet was the Metaverse. Was when they said chat room, I thought this was what a chat room would look like. You know, I was thinking that already.
So you imagined this form.
Yeah, that's what my head, when they said there was going to be the internet and we were going to be able to get on a computer and interact with one another. This is how I envisioned it. Was, okay, we're going to go into, this is what a chat room looks like, right? And then of course the chat room was some, just DOS text basically, and that was our chat room for decades, but this is what I always envisioned. And then I remember back in 2000, and I want to say it was 4, something like that, was like the first Metaverse project called something Life. I can't remember if it was
Second Life.
Yeah, that was it. And so I got in there and walked around for about a day and said, fuck this, man. This is fucking ridiculous. It wasn't there, man. It was like part of my vision. It was like, envisioning going to some freaking really nice place, and you get there and you're in the fucking middle of the worst neighborhood you can possibly imagine. It's just one of those things. It was just wasn't ready for prime time at that point. And now today I'm not seeing it. I'm seeing it different, but not much. We still have issues with the quality of the experience, and that's coming. And I think that with all those video cards out there that aren't going to be being used, maybe there will be some use for those video cards in the future. You'll be able to just kind of tap into some real power.
Yeah, either like AI stuff or Metaverse stuff or that sort of thing. Yeah, all those video cards that were going to be used for mining Ethereum that now need to find a home.
Now need to find a home. So, and like you look at the AI avatars that we all have, like, look at my old ugly ass. I throw up an AI avatar, like SJ's been helping me behind the scenes with the show and whatnot. And she puts these avatars up that are just like, whoa, that looks like me, but a much, much better version of me. So
like on the thumbnail of this video, she sent me that one. By the way, you just reminded me, I wanted to shout her out specifically because this would not have happened without her. I have a habit of literally going down the crypto or AI rabbit holes and not coming up for air for like days at a time. And so she was incredibly patient, waiting sometimes days in between me replying to organize this.
So I can't say enough either, because I got to throw a shout out too, because the woman is absolutely freaking amazing. So I've been through, 4 years of this streaming, behind the scenes, interns, people that I've brought on that have paid, and people that have scammed me, people that are just too busy for me and give me some of their time, but not all the time I need. And SJ finally just says, you know what, dude, let me take care of this. And she has helped and managed just about everything that I've got here and some. And she's done it in a bus on the road, driving from town to town to town to town across the United States. And I'm just like blown away by the productivity. And on top of that, she does Sci-Vive, She does everything on the road for the Pulse Chain Tour, as far as scouting the location, getting there. She hits all the coffee shops, colleges, puts up stickers, onboards people, puts up posters. I mean, and then manages my whole channel from behind the scenes here.
That is wild.
I can't.
Wild
SJ is what it is.
Do you know who that reminds me of? That actually reminds me of Bullish. When you get
Bullish
people
is the
that
same.
just have a high work rate and they just get stuff done, and they just have that attitude of like, let's sort it out right now. Let's just get it done. There is no, oh, we can handle that later. It's like, if we can do it now, let's just get it done right now.
Yeah. Unfortunately, Bullish helped me out too for a while, but unfortunately, all you guys have him torn in so many freaking different directions. I couldn't squeeze any more out of that turnip, man. And he was just like, he's just overworked, man. You guys, he's been in just about every stream, helping everybody. I mean, he started CZ stream. You name it. He's been involved. The Tang Gang with, I think he even had Jim Rat start his channel.
He used to produce for Jim Rat. I was just about to say that.
Just everything.
Yeah, man.
So hat off to freaking Bullish too, because he helped me out a lot. And unfortunately, he's just too stretched, too thin, and I've got too much going on.
Have you ever heard that saying, if you want to get something done, give it to a busy person?
Yeah, you know what? Yeah.
I think it's like that, man. It's like these people that just get so much done. It's like they've always got room to do more. They just find a way to get it done. It's crazy.
Yep. Well, I mean, that's probably, all of us, because, we all got into this and we realized that it was, first of all, a zero-sum game. If you're not, doing your own freaking sacrifice or making your own coin or something like that, it was like, it's give and take on the accolades, because half the people are going to hate you and half the people are going to like you. And then, Richard isn't doing anything for you. And there's really no money in this other than getting the information out, feeling yourself, knowing that you're doing the right thing, especially if you're like you and I, you've been in the space for a long time and you've watched every freaking scam roll down the river in front of us, to finally have our hands on something that we can go out and promote and feel good about, because in the end, I've never hurt anybody by promoting Hex.
Yeah. I co-host streams on Crypto 7's channel, and he made that comment that it's like, the benefit is direct, right? Like, we talk about the things that we're genuinely passionate about. We talk about the products or the things in crypto that we like and that we think are legit. And potentially there's an indirect benefit that if enough people were to agree with that and make their own decision to involve themselves in those ecosystems, that there might be like some tiny financial benefit but it would be, it's fractional, man. Like it's tiny, right? It's very, very, very small compared to the effort that's put in, and so it's a very indirect benefit that we get. And we've been doing this thing for years now, where very few people have gone home. Everyone keeps showing up. It's been really good.
Yeah.
I categorize you and Crypto 7, and there are a few other people where, whenever I hear them talk about Hex, I think Unrec Pyra actually as well, and some of the guys I stream with, when I hear them talk about Hex, it reminds me how good it is. Like, sometimes you just need that reminder, and some people are just very good at re-articulating why it's so good.
Well, I mean, in the bullish sentiment for Hex in the beginning was basically built on all of us being that way. And it wasn't because we were a hype squad. We weren't a hype squad. We literally from the beginning were uncovering Hex as a product and peeling it apart and talking about it and bringing in
discovery,
people.
Wasn't it? Yeah.
It was a discovery. It was an uncover. Because I mean, think about it. We all know Hex now. We all know T-shares and we all understand it. Those of us who've been around for a while. And at first we didn't. So imagine the first people trying to figure it out, not just people that are coming in today that get to learn it from 1,000 different people out there. I'm talking nobody knew. And Richard was being very vague with us on what it was. He'd be like, he almost acted like, you guys are stupid for not understanding this. Why don't you guys get this? And And then we'd bring somebody in a little softer and less heavy handed on us. Like, gosh, I'm already forgetting Kyle's name. Dev Kyle. We'd bring Dev Kyle in, and he was so kind and patient, and he would talk to us around the T-share and how it works and how it functions.
Yeah, I remember this. Yeah, and it all seems like a distant memory now. Now it's like super
Yeah.
obvious.
Yeah.
Cookies actually made a joke the other day where he was like, and for my grand finale on this Twitter space, I'm going to explain how the T-share rate as like as a highly sarcastic joke that anyone that it hasn't been like overplayed like by everyone over and over and over again. And but back then it was not.
And Richard acted because he had spent all those years, developing it and understanding it. Well, it wasn't years, but at that time it was probably about a year and a half that they had put it together and understood it. And he was acting like that. Like, come on, like you guys don't get this. It's that simple. And we really didn't. Only the very smartest of us understood it, and so that was, it was, and especially for a guy like me, because I'm not a programmer. I don't understand all of these things, and as I started to discover it, then I was able to get passionate about it, because that's what I do. I get excited and passionate and behind something and say, okay, let's rally the troops. Let's show everybody what this is about. Because as soon as the freaking head popped out of the ass and I figured it out, I was like, yeah, man, we got to go freaking get people fired up about this, because this changes crypto. And that's what I knew needed to be done. It wasn't it wasn't another crypto. It was, we needed something to fix this mess that we were all in. Because I knew Bitcoin was inadequate. I knew that it wasn't the end all be all. I knew that it needed more. I knew that it needed either an upgrade or it needed more crypto built around it. Was that what it was going to be? No, scrap the whole system and bring in the new crypto, because building a Rube Goldberg machine around something that's already very complicated and very difficult and very untrusted was not going to fix what we needed. And we needed mass adoption. We needed ease. We needed safety, security. We needed all those things. And Hex freaking encompasses all that. It's better programming. It's more secure. It's faster. It's stronger. It has an inflation model that beats everything. It has yield. It has all the things that Bitcoin needed. Bitcoin just proved that transfer process. That's it. It proved that we can stop the double spend, and you and I can have an online banking experience without any intermediary. Yeah. That's all Bitcoin proved. It wasn't supposed to be the end all be all crypto. And Ethereum just proved, okay, now we can program this stuff to do cool shit. And they failed to become the end all be all crypto. So then Richard came and took both concepts, took both products, and utilized them to make a better crypto. It's just evolution, and for some reason, this space won't allow that to happen. And it's because of the bags that are being held. We know that it's not anything other than the big bags that the maxis have that they got to dump two more times in order to get out.
I like this theory that everyone is bag biased. And the thing I was going to say to your point is there are haters that they at least admit some of these attributes of the things that we're talking about. So some haters will admit that what Richard created was inventive, like it was an innovation. There are haters that will admit that he did instill really good ethics within the community, like crypto ethics, and so the hold your own keys, the safety, the security, the doing everything like audits, trustlessness, true DeFi, that sort of stuff. They'll admit that. And then they might still have other criticisms in other areas. But if you look sort of collectively across the haters of the things that they do admit, and you put it all together, you can start to see why so many people really, really like and you know what, one of the biggest tests is the price went down a lot and not that many people left the community. Not that many people rage quit. No. So yeah, it's been interesting and it's been good. And now I think we're through the worst of it. So we can start to get excited again. We can start to get, hyped up.
Yeah. I mean, like he's first of all, let's go back to the diehards and the people that are still here. For instance, you, I was real excited when you came to the community because you know you were the first of all you're Aussie, right? I mean you're from that area. You guys are all the freaking coolest. You're like beach fucking crazy. I mean, Unwrecked is like one of my favorite people on the planet because you never know what you're gonna get with him. Like the first time he and I ever like interacted, he sent me a DM. It was like this whole, you know how they talk. What are those fellas called again? And it starts with a B. You call them something. Come on, it's almost like a culture. There are these guys that are a culture out there.
I'm thinking of a word, but I can't say it. But
okay. But anyway, well, you guys.
Wait, are we talking like beach? Like, are we talking about like? Wait. So it's an Australian term.
It's an Australian term for these guys that talk like they do. Like he talks like this gibberish almost. I've been told it a few times. I might not know it. What's that?
I might not know. I might not know the term.
Maybe okay. Well, anyway,
territory thing. But anyway.
All right. It's like a territorial thing, like we have out here in Southern California. But anyway, so he just spouts out all this gibberish in this. I don't know if he's insulting me or if he's like down with me or what. Right. And I'm like, who the fuck are you? And what are you trying to say, bro? Like freaking spit it out. And he comes back with another freaking line of gibberish. Well, that's not bloke. Bullish just said bloke. It's something else. And somebody else. Brogan, there you go.
Brogan. That's thanks to Nas.
Yeah, Brogan. That's what they say. They call him a Brogan. And I didn't know what that really meant. I'm like, okay, so these guys just have a different language and everything. And then he and I became really good friends because we're both kind of on the edge of the crazy side of things, you know. And then he'd just fucking go off and disappear. Yeah, Brogan. But anyway, when you came on the scene, you know, you had the hair, you were talking, and the first thing, and I was like, yeah, this guy's pretty cool. And then the first thing you did when you came to the community and like your biggest act was you took on Richard Hart. And this is when Richard Hart was at his fucking peak, bro. Like Richard was wrecking people. He was slitting throats.
Literally just slitting,
he was slitting people's throats. And you were like the first person to ever contradict Richard Hart in the community. And like, I'm going to stream with Richard and go at him and give an argument for freaking, Bitcoin, where he was like, he was just utterly destroying Bitcoin all the time on every stream. And you were like, nope, I want to talk to it and have
that was part of the reason. That was part of the reason why I wanted to do it, was because the people that were stepping up against him were so bad at actually trying to make a case for Bitcoin. It was so, I was like, man, I could do a better job, and I'm pro hex. So
yeah, and I was worried because I'm like, oh no, this fucking cool guy is gonna just go.
Everyone thought it was going to be an absolute, just just wrecked, just really bad, like really embarrassing.
I knew Richard wasn't gonna like fucking eviscerate you. Like he was gonna come in strong. But I was like, the community was going to eviscerate you.
Yeah, yes. I wasn't
that was my
worried
biggest
about Richard
worry.
I thought I might get kicked out of the community, like just completely outed for even trying.
Yeah,
and the response that I got was just crazy positive. It was
and I was going to stay away from it because I didn't want to. I was afraid to get freaking destroyed by the community too. But I was like rooting for you, bro. I really was. I was rooting for you. I was hoping you were going to come through it. And fuck, dude, you that was brave. That was really brave. And I've had nothing but respect for you ever since then. You know,
thanks, man.
You've done nothing but good in this community. You did that. You came through the other end of the gauntlet, and I was like, right on. Tangent's fucking good now. He's forged. He's good.
Yeah, I think Richard actually gave me some kind of compliment about it, saying basically that
he did.
Like lost but survived or something. Like I can't remember the exact words that he used, but he basically said that he'd
in his way
like a worthy opponent sort of thing, a reasonable attempt. And so you know,
it was the most reasonable attempt I had seen at somebody trying to argue Bitcoin's case against Richard Hart. And again, and you did I wouldn't say lose the argument, but I think that what I just said in the beginning here is really the case for Bitcoin. Look, it's always going to be just crypto's gold. It is going to lose in the end. and it just proved a concept, and technology is supposed to advance. And you're one of the people on the cutting edge of Web3, of all of these things that are coming out on Pulse Chain. And I think that you know this more than anybody, that this is about bags. This is old tech that needs to be advanced and move forward. And, I think you're probably the perfect person to speak to it as far as, what Bitcoin really has done, where it should be, and where it belongs now versus where we're moving forward into, because now Web3 in the 21st century can actually happen.
Richard actually liked my sort of theory that Bitcoin kind of creates like an umbrella protection against regulatory threats, against the smaller coins, because they know that if they shut those ones down, it won't help them overall for their long play if they can't shut down everything. But then in the same respect, they provide protection to Bitcoin, because they know that if they use all their resources to shut Bitcoin down, there's like 1,000 other coins ready to take the crown. So it's like this symbiosis of protection between the largest asset and all the smaller ones. They're protecting each other against that regulatory threat vector. And Richard was like, he didn't hate that idea. So
I think it obviously deserves, I always say this, it deserves its props for being the first. For giving us that kind of protection, giving us an asset that eventually, as the market cools down, I mean, just like anything that erupts, that like even you look at the creation of the earth, it was this blob of molten metal at first, and goo and whatever, primordial freaking goo. And it turned into what we have today over time, and it was that thing that was so unsecure and unstable and just spinning out there. And that's what Bitcoin was. And now everything is the market is starting to cool down. Everything is starting to show.
By the way, since we happen to be talking about it and it happens to be pumping its absolute dial off, look at this. Look at this. It just in the last, so this is a 1 hour chart. I'm going to drop down to the 15-minute. Wow. I'm going to drop down to the 5-minute. Okay. So in the last 5 minutes, Bitcoin went from 28 grand to 29,500. It's gone up $1.5 grand in 5 minutes.
Well, for the last week, I've been watching the whale wallets, and for the last week, it's really moved hard.
Oh my God, dude, it's pumping in front of us in real time. Oh, dude, it's about to hit 30K. It's about to hit 30 grand. What the hell, bro? What the shit?
Well, it's not a surprise. I mean, dude, look at what happened all last week.
No, it is a surprise. Look at the size of these candles. Like these
Let it go.
These are 30 grand. It just hit 30 grand. It just hit 30 grand while we're live on the air. RG3, I'm glad that we were here together live on stream to mark this occasion. It just clipped 30 grand, bro.
Dude, I'm not excited about it because I've been talking for the last
move in 5 minutes. That's a $2 grand move in 5 minutes.
I sent out text messages to everybody significant, in my immediate circle, and said, "Hey, look, it's been moving behind the scenes. This stuff has been happening, dude. There's been hundreds of millions of dollars of Bitcoin moving for the last 3 weeks."
Bro.
Every day behind the scenes. OTC trades are going on. The bull market is coming. Or we're going to see because it wasn't enough money to move, to be honest. Like I saw maybe.
But I don't know whether I'm more surprised by this chart or your lack of reaction. Bitcoin just went like $2 grand in a 5-minute candle, and you're just like, not surprised.
No, but I'm not, man, because this is going to happen. This isn't shit. This is just the beginnings of it. And it could be a little shakeout first, right? Because let's not forget, we're talking how many trillions are supposed to be coming into the market? We're talking 10 trillion.
Kind of ETF thing that's
the spot is being
might be
confirmed.
Approved tomorrow, saying.
Yeah. So the spot on Friday, if the SEC didn't appeal, then it was on. That means that they weren't going to delay it anymore. So now it looks like spot ETF is about to be freaking launched. Well, they've been posturing for the last 2 months I've been watching the whale wallets behind the scenes, OTC trade hundreds of millions of dollars every single day. And Friday was a big day. There was a lot of OTC trades going on, but it's still, in the scheme of things, we're talking a couple, a handful of billions of dollars moving. We're not talking the trillions that they're talking to move in. When we start seeing billions a day,
but still,
OTC trading,
to move Bitcoin $2,000, that's not an insignificant amount of money. It's dropping back down now, but
yeah,
that's quite the that's quite the bag.
It is, and it's going to be exciting for all of us, because like you were talking. Okay, so what's got to happen? How is this institutional money that everybody's so excited about going to get into our bags?
Yeah,
right?
yes, yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
That's what we have to really talk about. I don't give a fuck
yeah.
how much goes into Bitcoin,
True.
because that's not going to help the market that we're involved in.
Yeah,
that helps the Bitcoin market, which means absolutely nothing to us, other than it's going to bring capital into the market space, right? So market cap is going to go, back to 2, 3, 4, 5 trillion. Okay, what does that equal to us? Now we know how that moves into us. And what happens is it goes into Bitcoin, and then that big money starts hunting for
their risk appetite,
value,
or
or the X's,
and they start to
Yep. It's they pull out their hunting gear and they come out for the X's. Now, when we see things start to move into Ethereum, start to move into Pulse Chain, that's when it's going to happen. When we start to see OTC trades, or people get, people that have big bags of Ethereum start to move that Ethereum. Now, there were a few Ethereum moves this last week, but very small in consideration of what was going on in the Bitcoin market. So they are moving. So that means that some of them are positioning into, the secondary market, which is, the ERC20 market. And once that starts to really happen, once we start to see, the perpetuals are for Bitcoin are 29.3 right now. So that is starting to narrow and get tighter and tighter and tighter, because there was a huge premium on Bitcoin as far as the perpetuals market went. It was, there was a big disparity. Now the gap is closed. So basically the bull market is showing itself. It's coming into Bitcoin. The institutional money's coming that they've all been freaking yelling and screaming for, which I'm not in favor of. It's going to make me and a lot of my friends rich, but I'm not in favor of this institutional money coming in like it is. I'd rather see slow organic growth. I'd rather see our marketplace and this whole space slowly, organically, from the roots up, build a strong foundation and grow into what it's supposed to be. Always keep in mind where the market cap is when the bull run starts, which this might be. If this isn't a shakeout and this is the beginning of the bull run going into 25, then great. Let's mark it and count it and look at it and go, okay, well, here's 90% down from the top. Here's where we have to all look at and go, okay, this is where we can go. This is where we can end up a year and a half from now. So let's prepare for this rainy day here, but enjoy what's about to happen. I think that's important for those of us who are the leaders, that are the voices, that we let people know. Oh,
boy,
look at
Bullish
that.
is saying, so by the way, Bullish commented before. So
here it goes. Better put your chart back on. It's going to
Bullish and Cookies were actually the guys that made that debate between myself and Richard happen. They, it's actually pulling back now. We'll put the screen back up.
It's not done for the day, that's for sure. There's some bags probably jumping out right now.
We're on a 5-minute chart, so that's probably a bit extreme. If we go to the hourly, it's probably going to still look, that was an insane move. That was an absolutely insane move. $2,000 in 5 minutes. So, so Bullish is saying that it's because of this news here that the SEC actually approved one of the spot ETFs.
Yeah, that's huge news. That is huge news. That's news that they've been waiting for for, the last decade.
I think this is game over for bears. I think this is game over for bears. If we can have the entire world losing their mind at maximum fear, Bitcoin didn't go down, and then now this thing gets approved, plus the halvening coming up,
and there's nobody to dump. There's nobody to dump because the dumpers would be institutional money.
Been through the bear, so it's.
There may be a little fake out, shake out right here over the next month, but probably not because the big money's gone. Let's look at the market cap. So 17, we went up to again 17, we went up to just $1 trillion, close to $1 trillion. That's where we're at today. We're at that 90% gone. Everything's out. All the institutional money that wanted to get their percentages on the tops and the bottoms has done it. Now, once the whales start posturing, positioning, and it's safe for them. Now it's safe. That the SEC approving a spot ETF makes it safe. So guess what? Now they can come in, and which they have been doing behind the scenes. Some of the smarter ones have been doing some behind the scenes, or just a few $1 billion
ones that are willing to take the higher risk for higher reward.
Yep. And so now it's safe and they could come in. Now, these are just probably individuals all doing this stuff right now. But the big institutions, once they start moving and start coming in, that's, all of this last couple months has been based on insider news. That's why they've been moving such big bags. That's what's going on. This marketplace isn't different than any other marketplace.
Oh yeah. This doesn't even actually get us outside of this channel that we've been in since like March.
No,
but this was a major resistance line that I had here at 27,900. So, but yeah.
It's funny, like someone like me who doesn't read charts. I read sentiment. I read macroeconomics. I read history, and I know that we're right in that space right now. We're right in the place where it's either breakout, fake out, or real soon the bull's coming. The bull is it's coming. It's going to be happening real soon. The mathematics in this thing are already played out, and they're already baked into it. We know the halvening's coming. We can look at all the halvening charts and put them all next to each other, and we're right at that breakout section of the halvening charts. So we're here. It's coming, and now we're going to see.
We've been going up all year, like as in. Wait a second. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, this is the entire year. So this was the end of last year. And so this orange line, all my TA is orange now because of the Tang Gang, but we've been going up. We've been going up the whole year. So the bottom was in November of last year. Yep. And we're like October. So it's nearly been a full year of slow upward movement for Bitcoin.
Yep. And all that sideways action there. If you look at, I think you've probably seen it, the chart of all the halvenings put together, stacked on top of each other. This is that last tail section of that consolidation point right before the takeoff.
Yeah.
And then it's a year and a half of just fucking up, and having Pulse Chain launched, operating, functioning as it is, with a functioning operating DEX, the only functioning operating DEX really that's in existence. I mean, dude, what is going on? The DEXs are just freaking getting crushed, getting humiliated, giving in, rolling over. I mean, Uniswap is just, oh my gosh. I mean, there's still V2, V3, and then now the V4 with the new functions and the KYC shit, all that. I mean, it was inevitable. I guess
DEX having KYC, dude. What the fuck?
Don't call yourself a DEX anymore. Just don't. But on the other hand, when I look at it, is that what regulatory is going to be looking for? Is that where they're going? Are they going to go, okay, well, you can have a DEX, but you got to have KYC with it. And I don't know, just for monitoring purposes. Man, that's a hard one. That is a real hard one.
We will just build around them. Like, so everything they do to try and make it as difficult as possible will just build new solutions that don't. So I think we're in a powerful position now. The harder they go, the more we are forced to build the actual real DeFi shit.
Yes.
So that it's good. It's a good thing. It just it means
well, yeah,
know
because
we have to do real DeFi, or we're going to end up in a cage.
There's only one.
Only options.
There's only one L1 that can actually do it, and that's Pulse Chain. This is going to be where all of the crypto pirates, the freaking cypherpunks, this is where we're all coming. This is where
Pulse Chain is my favorite chain, and I know I'm bag biased, obviously, but I do think that Ethereum has a problem with those OFAC compliant block producers. I think that other chains, so yeah, Pulse Chain's the only one that I'm happy with the level of decentralization in terms of the number of validators. And also, if we agree that Richard's comment that ultimately all of this shit is a socially enforced network at the very lowest layer, then the ethics of the community that has built around Pulse Chain has got that we need to do true DeFi. We need to be censorship resistant. So if it comes back to a social consensus, at least we know that the broader community has the right attitude about these topics. Whereas I think other chains, they don't have that. If it's VC based, they're the opposite of that shit. They'll bend over to rules if they
they'll make the rules,
or they'll try and get in bed with the rule makers. They'll try and negotiate some kind of thing that F's everyone over as long as they can financially benefit.
Yeah, and that's what we have to be aware of. You know, people are now starting. Richard just posted it yesterday. Was a video of a gentleman who was talking about how VC money writes the laws for
I didn't see that.
Okay, so I've been talking about this for years, and Richard posted it yesterday. There's a thing in the US that has fucked up our whole system, and that is Citizens United. Citizens United has made money speech. Now you cannot go up against, ask for transparency of where the money's coming from. Like foreign money can come in and dictate where the United States laws are going because of Citizens United. So now, because money is speech, they can hide money and create gray areas, black areas where money can't be seen where it's coming from. And what they do is they've created these think tanks that develop laws, write law. They write law. And then they go into the politicians' lobby houses, which is all on K Street. And they say, here's the law you're going to pass. You're going to go get all your buddies in Congress to go pass this law. And if you don't, we're going to primary you, meaning we're going to put our money into our new crony.
Into your opposition.
And it's the same party affiliation. So it's not like they're even going to a different party to come up against you. They'll go into your constituency and say, so let's just say you're a Democrat or you're a Republican. Well, if you look here, Mr. Republican, if you don't do this, if you don't pass this law, this guy here, this Republican here is going to primary you, and we're going to put more money in his coffers than you have. Yeah. And on top of that, we're going to pull the money away from you that you have already from all the other donors that are coming. And we're going to say, hey, this guy's the one that's going to fix the law for us. So let's go over here. And they'll boot that dude out, put their dude in, and then he goes out and does the dirty work for them and gets that law passed. That's what we've got to watch here. What are they going to do to crypto regulate? Don't be happy when they start saying, oh, we've got regulation now. Oh, we've got this new law that's going to come out. Look at where the money's coming from. If it's coming from these big institutional organizations, you got to really look into that law. We've got to really look and be careful because we're starting to gain power now in our numbers, and our numbers are starting to become more wealthy. So we're not going to change a thing like Citizens United. Why? Because it takes a constitutional amendment, which means that every single state in the freaking country has to ratify that, has to approve it, has to say, okay, we'll get behind it. Constitutional amendments don't happen in the United States. It's a very, very difficult thing to do. Now, we have to join them is what it is. If we can't beat them like that, we have to join them. So how do we do it? Power and money. And that means real grassroots organization of people in crypto that have money that really want decentralized finance. That's the only way. And we have to shout at the rooftops. We have to get people organized. We have to get people involved. And instead of spending fucking hundreds of millions of dollars, like, well, millions of dollars like this community has on stupid fucking marketing ploys, we need to get behind the politicians that are doing the right things. You know, I helped campaign for a guy named Zach Conine who is pro crypto, and he's pro, DeFi, and he wants, so we went out and we raised a little bit of money for him, and he won, and that's just proof that as people can help. He is now the treasurer of Nevada. He's our friend. He helps us with regulatory stuff.
That's awesome.
And he's learned from us. He learned about Hex. He learned about DeFi. He learned about these things because these lawmakers don't know what the fuck they're doing. Like literally the stuff that he was telling me, like shows me that, dude, they don't even have a clue of what Bitcoin or crypto is, let alone what we are doing in the DeFi space. Like we are so cutting edge that we blow crypto people's minds, you know? And that's because Richard taught us about all these fundamentals and things. And our community is so brilliant that they took everything that Richard taught and they went out. And that's why Pulse Chain is so freaking amazing, because there are things being built on it that shouldn't be here yet. Like crypto has not caught up to where our people are at. And I'm so proud of all of the developers. I give them all props and I'm rooting for all of them, but I don't shill any of them because everything's dangerous right now. Everything is suspect. Everything is the wild, wild west. But man, I'm fucking rooting for them all.
Yeah, 100%. And I was about to say that fortunately now we have some people like Richard's an example where you've got pro crypto, pro freedom people who are very well funded. So if they want to play that game where it's whoever has the biggest bankroll gets to make the rules, we can play that game too.
Yes.
So it's, and then it becomes, I guess the only thing I've ever thought of, because I heard something where they said you can buy a senator for 10 grand or something like that.
It's not that much money.
I was like,
it's not.
What? It was insanely cheap. It was insanely cheap. I was like, I'll take a bunch of them. I was joking. but I think the problem is if you were to walk off the street and say, hey man, I've got double that. I'll give you 20 grand. They would not they'd be immediately suspicious that you're going to do something weird or that you know what I mean? So you have to as well as the money, right? You can't just rock up with money. Otherwise they'd be like, get out of here.
You can't just walk up with money because you got to realize, even though now that's just a dinner. That's just an introduction. Paying that kind of money is really an introduction. Okay. You're working on
that's a foot in the door.
That's a foot in the door. And it doesn't take $10,000 you're not going to buy a senator that's got $100 million coming in from BlackRock. You're not going to buy him with $10,000.
Yeah. Good point.
You can get a seat at a table and start to mingle with these folks for that. Or like, for instance, the treasurer, we got a significant amount of money for him. Nothing like that, of course, a 10,000 here, 15,000 there, 20,000 here. We put our own money into it and helped him win. Now it gave us his ear. I get to talk to him on a regular basis. I'm helping educate him about DeFi. Now, am I sitting, regulation in front of him or anything? No, we're not doing that. But we have a sitting treasurer's ear, and he listens to us and he's educated by us, and we get to know who he is and how he functions within the system.
Yeah.
So watching that alone, like my ability to read Richard was why I'm here. So now I want to take it into another level and say, okay, how do I go and meet with these regulators and see who's faking the funk and who's the real deal, And so Zach, I think Zach is a real deal. He's a real guy who wants to help and wants to be involved in crypto. And that's why we supported him. That's why we got behind him. Because if this guy goes on to, become the mayor or the governor or a senator within the state of Nevada. That's what they do. They move from one, job into the next, and they grow. Being with him from the beginning and helping him grow through his process, that's how you get yourself in grassroots wise with this system. And that means, okay, now we've got to find out who Zach understands, who does Zach see out there that can be allies? And he's already shown that to us. He said, hey, I know these states are crypto friendly and they've got crypto friendly treasurers in it. And here we can start to talk to them. And so that's the kind of value we get. And that's the kind of strategy and tactics that we have to use as a grassroots organization, as just a community organization trying to put its power and its funds together to go out and do these things. It's not an easy thing to navigate. It's not.
Yeah. I can imagine.
Yeah, you just can't drop a check down and say, hey, I need influence in this. It's not how it works. Politics don't work that way. And that's why a lot of people just want to blow it up. They just want to get rid of politics. And you can't. You never will. You're going to have governments. You got to figure out a way to work within it. You got to figure out a way to get your anger to turn into passion, to turn into strategies and tactics that you can utilize that can go make change. Because that's the problem with this whole space. There's no leadership. We don't have any brave leadership to go out and take care of the hard things. Like Richard Hart's putting out there right now. Hey, everybody, get out there and tell regulatory what you want, what you need, what you see. This is important shit right here. This is probably the most important task that Richard has ever put out in front of us, other than, hey, you guys go do it. You guys go build shit. I suggest that everybody here, everybody watching this, get into that AI tool and go and do what Richard has suggested. And no matter how hard it might be for you, very difficult, but it only takes a few minutes. I think that we crashed the systems that are helping you with the tools that are helping you put those up. But just keep trying. Everybody by the 30th of October should have put some comment in, because they listen to this stuff. Yeah. They listen to phone calls that come in. They every phone call that comes in from their constituency means 10,000 people to them, So they take that stuff seriously. So calling your congressman, doing these things that Richard is saying, very, very important.
It's an interesting, it's a chat. If for anyone who finds it difficult, consider it like a challenging experience to learn, because you're going to need to know how to use these AI tools. That is going to be necessary for everything in life. It'll be like being able to search Google was when that shit started. And so if it's difficult, it should just be seen as a fun challenge. Let's see if we can get this thing to work. And particularly if you've got access to the GPT-4, you can get it to do you can start off with one of those tools that gives you a custom script for that topic. And then you can feed that into GPT-4 and say, make this better. And it'll go through it, because I think most of those are GPT-3 based. So it's, I agree with you that it's definitely worth everyone doing. I saw Richard retweeted a crypto coffee video about it.
Yep. How to do it.
Hexo was tweeting out about it, saying it only takes about 3 minutes. So you just get off your ass. You're protecting your own bags.
Yep.
The more noise you can make about these sorts of things. So I typically come from the other side, in terms of from the anarchist perspective of by participating in a system, you are giving it power. However, I will admit, I've heard these sorts of discussions heated between anarchists, where there were anarchists that were thinking about going and running for political positions, and there were other more purist anarchists saying, if you do that, you are what's wrong. You are acknowledging that system is legitimate by even going and running for those positions. And they're saying, but we're doing it to try and make it better. And so and then a third person came in and said, look, we should really be trying everything. So you guys want to do the pure anarchist, just do I'm going to pretend that system has no authority over me. You go and do that, see how it works. If this guy wants to go and run for president or whatever, but he's got the same ideals as us, and ultimately we're on the same team, let him go and do that. It's better than him going, I guess I'll just do nothing then. If everyone's trying these different strategies, these different tactics, because you might not be right. As in your strategy might be what you believe is the true path, but you might be wrong. And then then you'd have to start on that other path. Whereas if someone's already forging that path forward, you're just all better off. You're trying it, you're trying to fight the war on all fronts.
You're right. And that's exactly what I was going to say. I know a few things about war, and this is a multi-front war. And that's why I always give everybody their props, and I always give everybody the right to go out and hang themselves, give them enough rope. I don't ever get in the noose myself, but I always give them enough rope to go hang themselves, because we need it in this space. We can't just fight this it's not a one front battle. I'm rooting for everybody. And if you go out there and get yourself shot up and blown up, that's not my problem. But it was necessary. It's necessary for people to go out and, like you said, try everything. And I try and see where I fit in and what I can do, and what, from my experience, my knowledge, my wisdom, my resources, how can I go out and help or fight this, and who can I recruit? Who can I help? And I just, that's my position. Do I think that the anarchists have a place in this? Of course they do, because they think like I do. This system is screwed up and they want it ended. But is ending the whole thing, blowing the whole thing up and trying to start from scratch and hoping that the rest of the world has the same ideology that you do? I don't think that's going to work. Because once you can, I know that I can get an island full of anarchists that just it'd be awesome just to go live with these folks, because everybody for themselves, everybody doing their own thing, and we're not going to fuck with anybody, and we're to live in peace and all that. Yeah. But that's a handful of people in the world, and if we were to try and push that out to the whole world, you've got so many dictators, so many freaking masochistic, fucking narcissistic human beings out there that are going to find a way to create the whole thing all over again. Yeah. And then where are we then? You're still going to end up with Genghis Khans and fucking Hitlers and all kinds of shit that are going to pop back up again. And
the other thing is that a lot of people don't want to think for themselves. So they naturally will gravitate around someone who presents themselves as a leader, whether it's deceptive or genuine, right? So when you have someone who is a good leader and the way that they inspire others and stuff like that, people gravitate to them, and then they're in a leadership role again. So you start with this thing where everyone's equal, and then it like you said, it's sort of,
it tribalizes.
Yeah.
It's human nature to tribalize. I mean, you watch that movie. What's that movie with all the little boys on the island? They get stuck there, and they create two groups, and they start fighting one another until somebody ends up dying or whatever.
Oh yeah. I know the one you're talking about.
It's an old movie. It's been redone a couple of times, but it's just human nature. Even in these little boys, they created that same scenario.
Was that Lord of the Flies?
There you go, Lord of the Flies. Yeah. And it just proves the tribalistic nature of human beings, and that's what we do. So how do you stop that from happening? How do you take the system today and fix it? Man, it's wrecked. The system today is so wrecked. So compromising all over the place. I think I see that coming. I think the universe is in for another renaissance. I think that with Web3 coming out and what we have, the tools we have in front of us are even this war that we're seeing today, like in real time. It was one thing when the first Middle East battles were televised, and we were seeing the bombs go into the houses, and we were seeing the bombs go into and blowing up areas, and we were watching infrared versions of men being destroyed by 50 caliber machine guns. Shit. It brought a whole another reality to the globe of what war is. And now today, we're seeing full color visual, destruction right in front of our face of our neighborhoods, of what a neighborhood looks. This isn't some, desert freaking dug in clan that lives out there shooting RPGs out at our troops. This is human beings being slaughtered Instagram style. Like you're seeing a dead, raped Instagram model in front of your face, and it's the reality that it's bringing to humanity right now. I think is going to be a big turning point, because now the realities of war at all of our doorsteps, like the pictures that we're seeing, that looks like my neighborhood. That's my fucking car I drive, shot up with 50 caliber machine gun bullets. Those people look like my family. They look like my friends on Instagram, laying there with their arms ripped off. I mean, it's like the reality that the world is showing us right now, I think, is changing people. I think it's ripping their hearts out. I think that this is a whole new way of looking at this. Is bullshit. We got to fucking stop this shit, you know, because some of us have seen that reality of war, you know, more so. There's only and it changes you as a human being when you see friends ripped apart.
Oh, you look frozen to me. Can you still hear me? Let me just shut some stuff to make sure that it's not a bandwidth thing at my end. Sorry, RG3. At the moment, you look frozen on my end. So I'm going to close this. Guys, in the chat, can you tell me what's going on? Shit. I think we've lost RG3. What do they call this when like the okay, we'll see if we can get RG3 back. Yeah, I was going to make the same joke that it was like because of the topic that he was talking about would be the reason why that he got pulled, but he's back, and I think it was just a coincidence. But oh no, we've lost him again. So maybe it's his internet connection. And so, yeah, look, what were we talking about? So basically, I was very impressed at the resilience of the crypto markets in terms of price action when all the crazy, like when they were just pumping the entire timeline 24/7 with all of the sorts of stuff that RG3 is talking about, all of the war stuff, all of that. And so, oh, this end stream button is like flashing at me now. So can you guys still see me? Well, RG3 and SJ are the only ones I gave the invite link to. So that's how I would assume it's the real RG3 that comes back. Oh, you mean like rolling with that same conspiracy theory? So yeah, look, I'll pull up a chart and we'll just roll with that for a bit. You know, RG3 actually did say, I think he's back.
All my high dollar shit decided to give me a big
I couldn't work out whether it was your end or my end. So, you know, I actually, one of the things, before I forget, one of the things I wanted to mention was you were an integral part of my streaming journey because of the Discourse Syndicate channel. Your channel was basically the short version of events is I streamed on YouTube as a Bitcoiner. The channel never went anywhere. I had extremely few followers, even though the people that did subscribe to the channel really enjoyed the content. It was like tiny. Then when Hex came out, I wanted to do technical analysis on Hex. And because I noticed that Hexo was on DLive, and that's where the majority of people would watch Hexo. So I decided to make a DLive channel and do that. And I'm pretty sure I was the first person to do technical analysis on Hex. And that was on that DLive channel. And Blue Bum just happened to see one of my streams and think that I would be a good fit for joining the other Australian Hexicans that do the late show, which is like late for us, but early for you guys. And so he said, do you want to come on this stream and just, you know, as a guest? And then so I went on as a guest and then became a more permanent thing. And then we've been streaming it almost every week ever since. Very few of us have missed. I think I've only missed like a handful of streams out of the entire, it's like over 3 years now. And I'm someone who is commitment phobic. And I don't mean that in terms of relationships. I mean that in terms of I want my week, I want my schedule to be as free flowing as possible. I want as few commitments where I have to be at a specific place at a specific time. I want to be able to go where I want, sleep when I want, party when I want, stay up late if I want, and not have things where I'm like, shit, I need to go to bed early because I've got to be up at this time, or I need to be, I need to be here at this time, and that sort of thing. And so for me to have something that I've actually been attending weekly with very few missed for the entire time, it's just been an absolute miracle. And so thank you, man. Like, as in, this is what Bullish calls like throwing people flowers. I need to throw you the flowers on putting the DS channel together, and really, it's been wild. It's been really good.
Yeah, it has been, and thank you, because that's what it was for, was to draw people like you, the smarter ones. I always called it, hey, there's going to be better streamers, there's going to be smarter streamers, and they're going to come and they're going to help us make this thing go freaking viral. And you were one of the first to like impress me and show me, hey, we've got better streamers coming in.
Thanks, man.
And so same back to you. I call it bucket filling, but yeah, I'm fill your bucket up too, because you were the reason why Discourse Syndicate was created, was to bring in, to bait and bring in better streamers, smarter streamers, the guys that were going to do the TA, that were going to speak intelligently to what we were talking about. Even though I was able to figure it out and get in first and understand what Richard was talking about, you guys articulated it better, and we've come up with the vernacular, like within the Hex community itself, the Richard Hart ecosystem community itself, that has been changing the face of crypto. And even though we're a small portion of it, we are a very loud portion. They all know who we are. Like when I went to this private party in Las Vegas at the Bitcoin convention thing or whatever, it was BitBoy and Altcoin Daily and all these guys were in there.
Oh yeah, I think I saw photos of you.
Yeah. And I went and met them all. But they're like, oh yeah, you're the pirate, the guy from Hex. Hey man, nice to meet you, and it was like, yeah, they've heard of us, you have heard of us.
Yeah.
You know who we are. And
the realist community, like,
we're the most organic.
We had the most real people really showing their faces, using their real names, going out and making content. The opposite of what happens with most communities that get accused of having bots and things like that. Hex, that was one thing that when the Bitcoiners would say about Hex, I was like, are you guys insane? They were like, oh, Hex it's just bots all over Twitter. I'm like, dude,
but that just proves
we've got more people showing their faces and showing up as real people. Photos of meetups where there's just like heaps of people in every city. Yeah. And you guys are you trying to gaslight the rest of crypto and the world that we're not real? Like,
well, that's what they had to at first. They have to say that at first. Like, there is no way that this is a real community. There's no way. These are bots.
It was their standard attack on all shitcoins. So I think they just tried to cookie cutter the attack onto Hex, even though it made no sense.
Of course. And then when that movie finally comes out to the general public, and it's not just Hexicans view it, and a bull market is running, and they're playing it, and when people want to see what a crypto movie is, and they see that, we are the first exposure of a real crypto community on the mainstream, on the big screen. This is going to be the first exposure of that. The people in that film are representing real crypto community. And let's face it, we all know that, and Satoshi proved it too, that it doesn't need a founder. It doesn't need a marketing tool. It needs human beings. It needs a community. It needs word of mouth advertising. Yeah. It needs conviction, compassion. All of us out there talking about it, the experience of it, teaching people about it. It's really about community development. And I think that we have built the strongest foundation of any crypto community out there. It still has to develop. It still has to grow. It still has to get better. It will. There's going to be better people than you and the streamers that are coming out today that are just freaking blowing the doors off of things,
Yeah, don't they say that's the sign of a good master, is that your student actually overtakes you and becomes
exactly
right? You should be, as a teacher or as an educator or whatever, you should want your students to excel and actually outpace you.
Yeah, exactly. Like for instance, let's just take Somi, for instance. Somi is just blowing the doors off of the algorithms out there. He knows what he's doing. He's polished. He's great on the, he knows how to speak. He speaks intelligently to all the things that are going on around Hex and Pulse Chain and the crypto space in general. It was okay for him to do what he's doing now because of all of us and what we've done. And I'm proud of that. And I'm freaking rooting him on, and better people than him are going to show up. So it's happening. It's happening just as we said it was going to happen, and like I've said about this Pulse Chain tour. So I'm trying to create something, this in real life experience where our community becomes even stronger, because you and I both know that once we really meet in person, like all these events that I've been to, all of these meetups, the people that I've developed relationships with for real are the people that I've met, shook hands, had high five and a hug with. Those people are lifetime friends. Those people are people I trust, people who are in the space, who are trying to do the same thing I am. And we've met, we went eye to eye. We know that there's no bullshit there. Of course there's always can be conflict.
It makes anybody.
Makes a huge difference. I want to see, and like I said, I might not be the one to get you guys to the promised land, but somebody's going to be filling up stadiums teaching RH's stuff to people. That is what's going to happen. That's how tight this is going to get. That's how many people are going to show up. It is going to happen. There is going to be events where human beings are and maybe it might be a concert. Maybe it might be something like Big K's talking about, a big event where a festival where everybody gets together that way. And then we speak crypto a little bit, and then we dance, we have freaking DJs show. We have a freaking, band play. We have just a monster festival, and people are learning crypto and getting together and breaking bread and having fun and gathering that community that we need to go out and do the political things, to go out and do the real things, to go out and, take it to, because look, this battle we are about to fight is with the most powerful fucking things on the planet, the banking system and the governments, and all of them being in cahoots with one another.
Yeah.
There's a lot of money.
That shit is no joke. Like
it's no joke. Yeah. It's no joke. And if we
have fun, but what we are doing is, one, super important for the future of humanity, and two, has it's the biggest boss that exists. Like, it's the most difficult opponent that exists. so yeah, it's no joke. It's no joke.
Yeah, it is. It's very important. But we have to do it lightheartedly too, because we're not a glum lot. We are a group of people that believe in what we're doing. And when we all get together, we have a good time. Yeah. And with that good time, we build relationships and we become stronger. And that's what it takes. And that's what proofs that we're not really a cult. Like a cult follows one man and his words and what he does to almost religiously. And even though we are very passionate and very dedicated and have conviction to what it is that we're doing, we're not that. Like, there are probably a few people that think Richard Hart is God, and that's few and far between. And it's not my group of people that I've seen. We can do this without Richard. In fact, most of it is going to be done without Richard now. Richard did the work. Richard did the work and gave us the tools as a community to go out and build and develop. Now it's about all of us coming together and supporting the good things that are going to come to this system and promoting them to the world. And that's what we have to do as a community. And by coming together and doing fun things together and having relationships and not bickering and fighting on about stupid little 10% of the shit that we don't agree upon, is going to be the key to this community moving forward and delivering the RH products to the rest of the world on a large scale and changing the face of what crypto should be and should look like. And that's going to be easy because the crypto fucking plebs, we beat the shit out of them. Richard slaughtered all their leaders, and then we came and just wiped out the rest of them. They may
bring
have
your heroes
followers
here to die. That was bring your heroes here to die was a real thing.
It was a real thing. And now because of that, he led the charge. He led the rally call by doing that. And we all went out and destroyed the rest of them. Look at Coffee streams. He streams, every time he streams, he blows away their algorithms. All the best of their best, Coffee's beating them. Somi's beating them. Maddie's beating. They're all beating them, man. You cannot deny that the Hex community has not the strongest community out there, has the strongest streamers, has the smartest people. You can't deny that. And they can't deny it either.
More proof is massive names being willing to come onto our channels. So you've got guys like Crypto7 has Ivan on Tech, Corey Costa has had like Cardano founder like Charles and other notable people. Oh, he had Gene from Chia. Like, so there are people that are, founders and community leaders and that sort of thing that are willing to come on, or like big name influencers who are willing to come onto our channels, even though they're smaller channels, because they know that we've got higher engagement and we've got amazing builders and amazing community, amazing activity and passion, and they'll come and play.
I'll just tell you, the altcoin Daily Brothers, I couldn't tell you which one it was because they're twins or whatever. And I don't watch their shit. But when I was meeting with one of them, I was talking, and he even said it to me. He said, "Hey man, look, bro, no hard feelings, we egg all that stuff on. We get a lot of engagement from you guys. So it's all in good fun, And I was like, man, whatever, fuck you. Well, whatever. And but he was kind enough to admit, well, of course, when people get in your face, when they've got a human being standing in front of them that could punch you in the fucking nose, they say things differently. Oh, hey, we didn't really, say you're a fucking piece of shit, but it was all in good fun, blah, blah, blah. And so, that's human nature. So people do. But they admitted that, they saw the engagement and they use it to their benefit because, that when you say something bad in a Hex space or you comment on something, boom, it's like a hornet's nest. You've just poked the fucking stick in the hornet's nest, and the Hexicans, boom, they were on you, and they got a lot of engagement from it, and that's why Richard would always say, hey, look, leave the trolls alone. Don't engage with them. They're just getting engagement from you guys.
Don't feed the trolls.
Don't feed the trolls.
My defense or my commentary because I thought about the cult thing, right? I thought about it. I was like, is it possible that this is a cult or cult-like or whatever? But the big difference, because I thought, what's the difference between what we're doing and a cult? And it's like, in a cult, you actually are convinced to do things that could potentially be against your own self-interest, and no one disagrees. It's like the one person or a group of people make the rules and they tell everyone, you will act like this, you'll behave like this, you'll think like this, this is the way, and everyone just says yes, daddy. So you can tell by the Hex community and just observing it for a minute that is not how the shit works. We actually promote people to think for themselves. We promote people to take. In a cult, you would never say to people, you take responsibility of your own finances. That's the opposite of what a cult would do. So there's
two things that mirror. Sorry for cutting you off, but there's two things that mirror each other here. There's a cult, and then there's a revolution. We have a revolution on our hands here. That's what's happening here. Richard was the first guy to go out there and say, let's go take that hill, because they don't deserve it anymore. They've screwed us all for far too long. He was the first person to do that. And everybody I've seen in the Hex community who's worth their salt, who's out there in front of this, who understands what's going on in the crypto space, were people that were in the war of what crypto had created. These pump and dump rooms, this speculation, this trading game, the liars, the promises, the rug pulls. We came here as cypherpunks. We came here to see Satoshi's vision come to fruition. We came here because of that white paper. We came here because we thought that we could bank the unbanked, because we can help the world. That's why we all came to crypto. Those of us who I think are in this Hex space, that are worth their salt, that are true leaders. And we saw Richard as that guy. Wait a minute. There's somebody over there waving a flag going, over here, guys, over here.
Yeah.
We got to take that hill back. We got to take crypto back from
our made up imaginary money is better than the government's made up imaginary money was the battle cry.
And I'm not talking about the world. I'm talking about just this first battle that we have to fight, which is crypto. Crypto's fucking damaged and fucked up, and we've all been jaded.
I see. Sorry, I see what you're saying.
I was ready to quit in 2017.
He was basically saying we can do this better. Like, as in we should be better. We should be better than this.
And that's why
within crypto. Yeah, good point.
That's how he created what he's got here. It's not a cult. This was a rally cry to start a revolution, man. That's what it was. That's why I followed Richard. That's why I believed in him, because he was waving the flag going, these guys are fucking us, man. We got to go fix this shit. And I need some strong, down, badass motherfuckers to go do what I'm doing and go slaughter these fucking punks so we can take this hill back and we can go and take it to the world finally. Because until we get crypto back from these fucking clowns that are out there, we don't have what we need. We need everyone in crypto to get behind us. We need DeFi. We need things that Richard has built. That's what this is. This isn't a fucking cult. This is a revolution, man. That's what we got here.
I've got a better example then, because I thought you were talking about in terms of like the broader scale of the government stuff. But so for the internal one was when he said, people are desperately trying to reinsert themselves as middlemen inside a system that was designed to get rid of middlemen.
Yes.
So, and it's like, we need to fuck off all these VCs, all of this bullshit, all the secrecy shit, all the non-DeFi, fake DeFi, fucking decentralized in name only shit. Get all that shit the fuck out, and let's do the real shit and start from, and basically have to start from the start. Like, you have to go back and then baby step it from the start.
That's what he gave us, man. That's what he gave us. He gave us Hex. It's a better than Bitcoin. Hex is better than Bitcoin.
Literal trustless yield. Yep.
He gave us Pulse Chain, an L1 that actually fucking works. Now Web3 can come. Let's go, Tang Gang. Get out there and promote Web3. Get it, boys.
Did you see Bullish's comment that he said that the Tang Gang wouldn't exist if it wasn't for Hex? It's true. Like, as in, it's part of its path. It's part of its journey. And the Tang Gang does give props, saying that because of the way that the Hex community, what I was talking about before, the ethics that Richard instilled into everyone about the true DeFi, all of that stuff, the Tang Gang by definition has all of those ethics. And it's built on Pulse Chain, like, as in, and it's a community on Pulse Chain. It's like a subculture within Pulse Chain. Yeah. But I'm a Pulse Chain bull, man. Yeah. I'm a Pulse Chain bull. Like, I saw someone comment that if you looked at what happened during that Bitcoin pump, Pulse was pumping, but Ethereum was not. Now, I know that's like, we're looking at very small time frames here. That doesn't prove any shit, but it's like people are fading Ethereum
indicator,
while everything is like, bullish as. But some people were saying that was fake news. That news article that sent Bitcoin to 30K, they're now saying that it was a lie. It was fake news.
It could be. I mean, but like I said, those moves. So somebody reported today that there was like $120 million in Bitcoin that moved, and it was a big deal. No, that's been going on for the last couple months. They've been moving that kind of stuff for the last couple months. It just came out on the news cycle. And of course, that started a little thing this morning. So this is happening on a macro scale. We just watched a little micro move right now. That's why I wasn't excited, because it's a micro move. I'm watching macro moves, bro.
It was freaking, that was still for the time frame
exciting, but
Bitcoin
it's
to go 10% in 5 minutes.
It's an indicator. It's an indicator of sentiment and what's happening. That things are happening, and they're starting to happen more and more. And that's how the networking effect.
Waiting. Like, lots of people were being indecisive, and they were waiting for some kind of thing to make their decision. Yeah. And I think that was enough to just get a lot of people go, okay, it's long. That's the way.
Yeah. And
then got wrecked.
And then they got wrecked. And that's why I say, don't get too excited about all this stuff. Don't think too highly of your crypto thing, folks. But let's take a step back, look at it. Look at the macroeconomics of the globe. Look at the macroeconomics of the S&P 500, of markets themselves. Look at the macroeconomics of crypto and where it's at, and position yourself accordingly. and do the right thing for yourself. Don't overstep yourself. Don't freaking over leverage yourself. Don't get in too deep to where you're going to put yourself in a position that is going to fuck you or hurt you or stop you from paying the rent next month. Don't do that shit. This is a very volatile space. However, if you're smart, if you're patient, if you want a revolution, if you want to change things, take a step back, bring yourself into the game, do it wisely, do it to where it's comfortable for you and it's based on your risk fucking profile, and come join us, because this is a revolution and we're in the front of it. And it's not the rest of crypto. We fixed it. They've got to come along with us now. We already won. We won. We took the hill.
I like that attitude. It's true though. It's like you Cookies calls
now it's about them catching up. It's about them catching up
this
to
a
us.
Quantum checkmate. If they move, they get decapitated. If they stay where they are, they fade into irrelevance. It's either you come to Pulse Chain or you, and I'm stealing his comment. He was talking about something else, but I'm applying it to Pulse Chain. You come to Pulse Chain or good luck. Like, as in, this is where the Pulse Chain is going to be, where this next bull market. I don't think that any other chain has anything as good as Proteus in terms of a DEX aggregator and smart routing. I don't think that the other chains have got a version of liquid loans where as much care has been put into the auditing and the structure and the design, the aesthetics. I don't think that other chains have got. Like, you can probably think of some other examples. Like, I don't think, like, no other chains have got the Tangang. I don't think that any other chains have got
organic
the NFT, like the NFT communities that have the genuine artists and the genuine, like, passionate communities that surround and patronize those artists.
And it's truly decentralized. I'm working with a group right now that is upset with another L1 that's out there because there's an organization involved. There's people involved.
That's
and they're not treating them well.
That's
and
a
it's
deal
like,
breaker to me. Yeah.
And why do I have to deal with a corporation and people within that corporation if I'm going to try and do something decentralized? If I'm trying to bring my art to something I just need the tool. I don't need human beings jumping in the middle of it. And the only thing I need other human beings for is to help me promote what I'm doing. That's all I need them for. I need them to help bring me in, to show me some love and show me how to do this. And that's what you guys in the Tang Gang are doing. They're coming to this project that that has come to me, and they're going, hey.
Oh yeah. How much of that are you allowed to talk about?
Just a little bit. And then, you know what? I've really got to go. I've got to,
Sorry.
I got to go train.
We're past.
Man, I could talk to you for another couple hours, but I got to go. My trainer is going to be waiting for me in a minute. So I bring this project and they're like thinking they have to talk to another corporation or whatever. And it's like, no, this is a community member that said, hey, I'm going to show you how to do all of your stuff for free. I'm going to show you how to take complete control of your content. And that's what these people are doing this project for, is because they want control of their content. And the Tang Gang, the members in it, again, props to them, are just saying, hey, with open arms, we're going to show you how to do it. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to pay us. You don't have to shill anything for us. Let us help you.
We can give you the blueprint. We can give
you the blueprint and show you how to manage your own stuff. Just like Richard Hart did to all of us. I'm going to show you how to do it yourself. You go do it, but I'm going to show you how to do it. I'm going to give you free information. In the spirit of that, that's what the Tang Gang is doing for this organization.
Amazing.
And I couldn't be more proud. I love it, what they're doing. Again, like I said, I don't shill anybody's shit or what they're doing or anything that they've done. But it's when I see grassroots community development operating in that manner, not asking for anything, but wanting to bring people in and show them the ropes. That's what it's all about. That's what it's all
man,
about.
I'm very excited because I heard Cookie saying something similar in terms of, because he was also saying that I've been on the phone, and exactly what you just said. You guys both basically said the same thing, that it's like, hey, look, guys, this is what we're willing to do. This is what we're passionate about. We can give you the full blueprint, and then you decide how, like, we can either collab, and this is what we can bring to the table. And so it's just, something that I said to Bullish recently, and everyone seems to agree with this, is that when, and this is a broad statement, it's not just Tangang, but I thought of it thinking about the Tangang, is when you are adding value to, you can do it transparently. But when you are extracting value, by necessity, you need to hide what you are doing from the other participants in the network. So value, like if you're obsessed with value addition, then everything can be done transparently and it just makes it better for everyone. And then there's no like someone finding out later that there was some backroom deal done as part of it, or some VCs involved or whatever the fuck. It's just like, hey, guys, this is what we're doing. And Cookies actually makes a good point that he said the only time that anything is withheld in terms of information is to protect an artist or protect an idea. If someone's like, hey, I'm doing this, but can you not announce it yet because I want to, I want to get it to the finish line, or I want to build it.
Protecting the brand,
protecting the idea. The
promotion. So, and that's necessary. We have to have not only transparency, but security and anonymity. You have to try and balance those two things. Just like having a centralized ownership versus a centralized product. There's goods and bads in capitalism and communism. There's goods and bads in all of those things, and it's trying to find those things to make a gray center and equilibrium that works for everybody. Like what we were talking about before. Is it total government or is it anarchy? No, we have to come back into the gray areas and make the world peaceful and work again. That's what people have forgotten, is that the gray area works better for everybody versus I want it to be my way. No, I want it to be my way. No, fuck you. Boom, let's fight. That doesn't work. That's not how the world is peaceful and operates in the most efficient manner. Richard says this in his sci-fi book, things like this.
Yeah.
We have to find the gray area that works for everyone, that brings the best outcome for the most people. That's like what democracy was supposed to do. And then, of course, like you and I talked about earlier, human nature steps in and people get greedy and people want things to be their way. So they try and figure out cracks in the system and holes that they can create, these fissures that start to do and develop and become what we've got today, which is a lot of division and a lot of people not looking at gray areas and a lot of people looking at their own thing versus what everybody could benefit from. And that's what the world needs more of. It needs more gray area. It needs more of us to come together and agree to disagree on the 10% of shit that we disagree on and agree on the 90% of shit that we should. And that way our kids can have a better fucking place to live and grow and develop in. Because this generation of kids that is coming out, I don't know what to say. They've got the best tools. They've got the best planet to live on. They've got all the things that they need to go out and create such an awesome, beautiful place for us. But we're in the middle of the shitstorm of all of our elders and what we've done and what we've created. And they have to they've like been born into this cesspool with all these beautiful tools, but they're living in shit right now because of all the crap that we've created. And I want that to go away. I want that to get better so that these young kids today with all these awesome tools with AI and computers and Web3 and crypto, I want them to be able to go out and just fucking flourish and build and develop and make the world a beautiful fucking place. But they've been born into a world of shit. And I want to help clear that up for them so that they can go do it. I'm not going to be the one to do it. I'm too fucking old and tired and fucking disgruntled, man. I've been living through this shit my whole life. I grew up, born in primordial shit, lived through the primordial shit, and I'm trying to fucking keep my head above it right now. And I'm watching these poor kids get, born into this world that we've created, that I've had to allow to happen. And I don't want it anymore. I want them to be able to change the world. And if it means me fucking going out and sticking my neck out for all this shit, then so be it. I'll do that. I will be that. And that's what I think we're doing here. That's how come I'm so passionate and it's so important to me, because I got a little one that can go out and change the world and I want him to do it. But man, it's going to be a tough road. I got to clear the fucking way for him first.
100%, man. I was going to ask you to say, do you want to make any closing statements? But I think, man, that was such an inspiring such an inspiring thing for us to end on. And I know
that's my closing statement. Don't watch any of my shit. Don't follow me. Don't fucking go to Twitter. It doesn't fucking matter. Just go out and do what I said to go do. Go change the fucking world, make it better, guys. We're having a revolution here. We need you to join. Come help us. It's not a cult. It's a fucking revolution.
Agreed, man. Amazing. I think we can end it there. Wild SJ asked when Pulse Chain tour Australia. Yeah,
next year, baby. Yeah. Next year we're gonna be taking it around the world. I'm gonna meet with all you guys. I want to meet with the Aussies. I want to meet with the Europeans, A-Bit and Patrick. I want to figure out how we're gonna do this thing globally in this next year.
Yeah, we're going to be able to go pretty large once the bull market kicks in properly.
Oh yeah, if we could do this U.S. tour in a bear market, I'm sure we can kick off something globally in a bull market.
And Dozer just came in and said inspiring stuff. Awesome. All right, I'm gonna nuke it. I'm nuking it here.
Thanks, man.
And